It's March 1st, 2010. I'm Mike Benedetti. This is Five Way to Show About Worcester. Brendan Malikan on the show today. Jim Dempsey on the show today. A bunch of Clark students on the show today. How's it going, guys?
Hi.
Wonderful. So today we're going to talk about two issues, and neither of them are like super fun issues. So it's glad that people are in a good mood. You want to talk about crime first? Or you want to talk about unions first?
Unions.
Unions first. All right. So, do you want to be our host for this issue?
No.
Who wants to be our who wants to, who wants to be our host for the issue of Sodexo workers?
I have a general question.
What's your question?
I saw it yesterday. Were they walking like from, was it in University Park? And like what exactly were they protesting aside from unionizing? Because I saw signs that said more time with our families and stuff like that. So what's the general?
Anybody here at the event speak to this?
It's because the signs about the time with their family and stuff is because they're paid so little money that they have to work so many hours and extra jobs and stuff like that. Like they were talking about how they got a raise this year of 18 cents, so now they make like $8.23 or something like that.
And wait, and who is the they that we're talking about? Here?
They is the workers for Sodexo.
Okay. And these are like food service workers at Clark.
Food service workers at Clark, janitors,
Okay.
I think maybe too.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly the food service workers, and it's kind of like across the country, Sodexo workers are treated notoriously poorly,
Okay.
and we're trying to let them be able to unionize and have some sort of rights, but Sodexo doesn't want them to.
Okay. And there was a big rally at the park. Like 200 people.
Yep,
The mayor was there.
the mayor was there.
Why was the mayor there?
I think he's just concerned and wants. He's in support of
Okay.
them unionizing.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else there? Anybody else have a comment on this issue?
The state representative, one of the state representatives
Yeah.
was there.
Okay.
Also,
What was the mood like at the rally?
it was exciting. Everyone was really pumped up, and it was just a great atmosphere. And I feel like it felt great to be one of those people that showed the people that we're there for them and supporting them. It was a good rally.
Yeah, I have to say, it's kind of. So this in the SEIU, Brendan Malikan read an article in the newspaper, expert on this topic. The SEIU, the Service Employees International Union, trying to unionize people at Clark.
And that seemed to be the case. Yeah. Well, I saw the purple shirts. That's usually the cue that it's SEIU involved is purple shirts.
I guess I'm surprised that like so many Clark students, alumni, current students came out. I mean, are people? I guess I'm just throwing this camera out here to say, like, is this like a general thing? Like, are the students in general supportive of this? In general, don't care? Do you guys have a sense on this? In general, hostile to this idea?
I think generally there's kind of a lot of support for it. I know Facebook, as ever, they've got a massive support on their Facebook group, and
Oh, really?
they've been sitting in the cafe all week in purple t-shirts, and every time I see them, there's more of them. And
Purple t-shirts.
yeah, the students all kind of, everyone involved or everyone leading it was wearing purple shirts, and they were getting protests being signed and everything. And I didn't go to the thing itself, but I was definitely aware of it all week leading up to it.
Okay. Has there been any backlash, any criticism of this?
Not that I know of, not yet, but it was only Sunday, so
Okay.
we'll see, I guess.
Well, that's because you're on the meal plan. Like upperclassmen, we're not on the meal plan, and so we don't go into the UC like maybe twice a week to mail stuff. So I had no idea what it was until I saw them like leaving the park, walking down by the UC. So that definitely affects like who's aware of it.
Yeah.
Mhm. People can also just talk, raise their hands.
Yeah, this is still Clark though, so even if people don't actually use dining services, anytime social activism gets passed around, everyone kind of joins in.
It's like a good opportunity to do some union things.
Yeah.
Even if you're not on like a union track in your career.
Exactly.
This is your one chance to do that.
The old King Missile song. We're protesting because it's Saturday and there's nothing else to do.
There you go. Somebody gonna say something?
Well, also the CAF workers can't protest it, right? Because they can't like unionize, so it's like especially important that like Clark students like make a big deal out of it.
We have the
Or maybe
freedom
that's
and
why
the
so many people were
opportunity
at the protest on Saturday. Yeah.
The reason we had to hold it off campus too is because they're not even allowed to be on campus more than 15 minutes before or after their shift, so they like weren't even allowed to be here to talk about it. They can get fired if they're here 15 minutes before or after their shift.
That's crazy.
Mike and I have greater rights than the employees of.
Because we're allowed to hang out
Yeah,
here.
we were here way more than 15 minutes before our shift started.
Oh, that's true. We did. I actually want to ask Brendan Melican a question, because one thing that we're unfortunately obsessed about on this program that nobody else cares about really is city politics. And so the mayor of Worcester was at what is going on? Was that a union organizing thing?
No, I think that's great that Joe is an ideologue. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he has any shame in coming out and standing alongside folks who share his ideologies. That's get used to it, Worcester. That's
Okay, there we go. Any other thoughts? Any other angles on this? Any other fleshing out of this story about the Sodexo thing? I don't know.
Student council has gotten a lot of emails.
Wait, start over because you were far away.
Oh, student council has gotten a lot of emails because I just became houses rep. So there's like this format that people are being given like a scripted letter, and they're just like sending it out en masse to us, and so we're gonna address it at the next meeting.
The student council meeting.
Yeah.
So I this is actually an interesting question, because my question has been sort of why does Sodexo, like, how exactly is Sodexo who's being pressured to do what here? Because it's not like Clark University is going to say, you guys are a union, because Clark University doesn't own Sodexo, right? Sodexo maybe can do this or that to help it happen or not happen, I guess. So Clark is pushing Sodexo, maybe, but then what is student council's role in this?
I mean, it's kind of vague, but basically it's like we're giving a voice to people. So people are going to show up in the gallery and they're going to talk about it. And I mean, it sounds kind of lame, but just facilitating a conversation is, I feel like that's kind of important. And the fact that like, that sometimes it's helpful to have college students like sometimes when you're like kind of disenfranchised, your voice gets taken away from you, and so it's helpful to have these like kids speak up for you. I mean, yeah. So I don't know if that sounds bad, but it can be a huge benefit.
How does this compare to the kind of issues that student council is normally discussing?
I mean, it's really different from like Cougar Cab or just basically we just do like student activities.
Wait, what is Cougar Cab?
Oh, it's this thing. It totally failed. We're gonna try to bring it back though. It was to get kids to like go outside of Worcester, areas that like Shrewsbury Street that we don't normally get access to, and so there was like a van or something, and it was student council sponsored. But yeah.
Didn't happen. Or
Yeah,
happened, but didn't
people
really
just
work.
didn't use it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
I thought one of the interesting things that one of the campaign organizers brought up was the fact that, and I hadn't even thought of this, but Clark University is supposed to be a challenging convention, and that's like supposed to be our cornerstone, but then they choose to use Sodexo, which is this huge international corporation, and so it's kind of, it's contradicting our school's supposed values. We could be using a friendlier, more sustainable food company, but it's interesting to me that Clark is challenging convention, but I guess not all the time.
Well, and we used to use Bon Appetit, which I think is local, at least to like New England company, and they only switched to Sodexo like 2 years ago, and I have no idea why. I've never been able to figure out why they made that switch.
Because people complained about how bad the food Bon Appetit made was, partially, and so their contract came up.
Sodexo's.
It's worse.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Much worse.
Man, I'm really glad that you brought up challenging convention. So, the Clark motto is challenging convention, changing our world. And I know so many Clark alums who complain and say, I can't believe we have this motto, we don't live up to this motto, what kind of stupid thing is this? But I love it because I feel like it's like a conversational in when you need to make some point to the administration or make some point to people in power at Clark, and they say, what can I do? You can say, you should challenge convention. You should change our world. It's just like an awesome rhetorical move to like that they gave themselves that mission statement, and you can kind of say, hold yourself to it. I don't know.